better person to start off our week, the first guest of the week, than my friend, left-wing popular podcaster, Ryan Shedd, joining us right now on the program. Ryan, it's good to see you,
Thank you,
as
brother.
a friend. How are you?
I'm doing good, brother, in face of all this craziness. So thanks as always for bringing me on. I think I'm bad luck. Seems like every time you set me up to come on here, that Trump does something insane, and yeah, so we have something great to talk about.
It is crazy. Let me start with this. So the rift that Donald Trump has with the governor of Maryland, and he's threatening to fund the bridge reconstruction. Why? Because this governor does not kiss his ass. I can't think of any other reason why he's doing this, Ryan. What do you make of this? Because they've been going back and forth on social media over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, first off, like you already pointed out, it always seems to be, black individuals that he seems to always go after. But again, it's always interesting to me the people that were for small government now are all of a sudden in favor of withholding federal funds for things like, to repair a bridge that was knocked down. Like, it's just insane. It's pettiness. It's what a lot of us expected from, Trump 2.0, is that he was going to use his powers to just come in and go after anybody and everything that came after him or didn't do what he wanted to do.
And by the way, I like Governor Moore. I think he's very intelligent, very articulate,
He's
cares
handled this
about.
well.
He's handled it in a very mature manner, but he's not going to be bullied.
Yep.
I think one day he could be a great president. I've said that, and who knows what happens in 2028. But I like Governor Moore a lot, and I think Donald Trump is messing with the wrong guy here. But just the fact that he's threatening, he does this with everybody. He threatens. This bridge is so important to that economy and the communities surrounding it. He does the same thing anytime there's a natural disaster. He did it in LA with the fires. He'll do it again.
Yep.
What do you make of this law enforcement crackdown, Ryan, as they would say, because now Donald Trump will be sending out the National Guard to Chicago. Oh, yeah, by the way, the mayor of Chicago also happens to be black. I'm sure that's not a coincidence. But what do you make of this now? Because my understanding is the crime rates in Chicago have been dropping as well.
Yeah, the statistics just don't support what he's doing and what he's using as his reason for doing so. Let's just start there. And if you don't think that this is a step towards fascism, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, the dude, you mentioned it in your intro, he sat behind the Resolute desk this morning and said, a lot of people are saying that maybe a dictator would be great.
Yeah.
Like, no, bro, I don't know anybody except for MAGA Muppets saying that, honestly. So it's just insane that we're watching not just police forces, not just ICE, not just the FBI, not just local law enforcement. We're watching the military get deployed. And we're not just talking about National Guard. This dude is willing to put active duty military in American streets against Americans. There's no other way to spin it. There's no other way to cut it. That's exactly what's happening right now. The United States military that a lot of people thought would stand with the American people if we ever came to face with a fascist dictator wannabe like Donald Trump. I got news for you. They're not siding with you. They're not siding with us. They're proud to go out there and start yanking people out of cars without warrants. They're happy to do it. And again, as a veteran, let me also take this second to remind you all that if you don't have to abide by an order that is unconstitutional, and arming the military against American citizens is about as unconstitutional as it gets. So you will have massive support in these streets if you refuse those orders.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. By the way, Chicago violent crime, as my producer just informed me, is down 35%. I also find it very interesting that he doesn't really seem to want to lower crime rates in red states, only blue states. If you look at per capita crime rates in other states, there are many Republican governors and Republican mayors out there where their violent crime rates are much higher than what is going on in D.C. and what is going on in Chicago. But why is he not calling out the National Guard? I think there's a couple reasons, and I want to get your thoughts on this. First of all, I do think race is a factor here. When you look at the homeless and you look at how many minorities in D.C. and Chicago, I certainly think that is a factor. I also think it's a factor when you have African Americans that are in power there. Donald Trump likes to go after minorities, in this case, African Americans that happen to be mayors or governors. And thirdly, they're Democrats. So he's not going to go after somebody that's a Republican in their own party. So he doesn't really care about lowering crime. This is just tough guy. The base is going to love this. Let's go after these colored people in these cities. That's what I think.
Well, and again, I don't even want to. I don't want to personally generalize just folks of color. Like you said, he's going after Democrats. He's going after liberals. He's going after Democrat-run cities, and the reason he's doing that is even more nefarious than what you said. It's because he wants control. He wants loyalists in those positions, because he knows that in 2028, when it comes down to election time and having to certify the elections, he needs to have loyalists in as many of those positions as possible. And what best way to get people voted out than to say, I'm going to withhold federal funding from your projects, from things like bridges and homeless shelters and all sorts of things, and to say, but if you vote Republican, I'll put this money back into your community.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Absolutely insane. And now we're going to see the same nonsense going on in Chicago. And I just
well,
think
there's 14 others. I think in addition to Chicago, I think it's 13. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right.
But like guys, he's not just sending these into 2 cities. He is deploying military into 14 American cities right now. And if you go look at the list, as Brian pointed out, there aren't many red cities on that list.
Yeah. It's sickening to me. And while all this is going on, Ryan, we see the far right, upset that they won't be going to Cracker Barrel anymore. Ryan, I laugh at this stuff. Like, what is the issue here? Like, I see James Woods and these far right idiots freaking out. Oh my God, I can't go to Cracker Barrel anymore. I grew up with Cracker Barrel. I can't. Like, what is the issue here? What are they complaining about? Like, I don't get it.
The same people that were saying that all these other things weren't offensive. Oh, it was no big deal. Now they're crying and clutching their pearls over a freaking restaurant's logo. Like, do you people not have anything better to do? Like, so many things have been made up about this guy. Like, oh, the person in the logo was a slave owner. And I'm like, to me, it's an old guy sitting next to a wooden barrel. Cracker Barrel, got it. Like, it made sense to me. If you've ever been in a Cracker Barrel, the logo made sense for the inside of the place. Like,
I
so personally don't care.
I'm so sick of these idiots. The Sweeney stuff that was fabricated by the far right. Every single one of these things made up by the far right. And if they see one left-leaning person on Twitter complaining about something, they assume that's the left. That's the left. When you have one or two people that are complaining about something, it's so stupid.
It is. But again, these people, they make these generalizations. They don't do any homework. And even when you do the homework for them, and you post court documents and information and even videos of people saying the stuff themselves, they will still find a way to dismiss it. It is why the MAGA movement and the Trump voters will be studied for decades to come in history books, because we will look back at this and go, wow, that was crazy times that this dude actually was in power.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And, they're not talking about what I would consider much more important issues. Now, Trump was talking about Ukraine, the war there with Russia, and he was asked about this war, and he was asked, now Putin doesn't want to meet with Zelensky, which is not a shocker, by the way. Remember when the White House last week, they were gloating and bragging about how he's going to get these two guys together? I didn't think it would ever happen. And now it appears like it's not going to happen, and Donald Trump was asked about that today. Why does Putin not want to meet with Zelensky? His stupid answer, well, I don't think they like each other. I don't think he likes him. That was his brilliant answer. And then he starts blaming Joe Biden. It's Joe Biden's war. I'm going to end the war in 24 hours. Well, I don't think they like each other. I thought you were the brilliant negotiator. What happened there?
Yeah, I mean, we saw that coming. And I want to also point out that it was a day or two ago that the American government / Trump administration prevented Ukraine and Zelensky from a Russia strike, and their reasoning for doing so was to try to bring Putin to the table, that Trump didn't think bombing him was a way to bring him to the table. And it's like, you really don't get it, dude. Like, you just don't understand. There's no way that you should be in charge of our military, because you don't understand the basic principles of OPSEC security, like nothing. Watching this guy as a veteran, it's like daily mind-numbing insanity. And so many people either aren't paying attention or what. Like me personally, I'm going to tell you where I'm at with it. We're in a civil war. Like, I don't know if y'all realized it, but it started. So we have our own stuff going on here. As much as I side with Ukraine, I will never side with Putin and Russia. You know, they have my support. But I also need us to focus on what's going on here, because we've got our own dictator, Putin wannabe, in the White House right now. And I don't know if y'all noticed this either, but we're only like 6, 7, 8 months in. Like, we got a long way to go. And I don't know personally. Let me ask you, do you think that we can afford to wait until midterms?
Well, I don't think we're going to have
the rate
choice.
That things are going.
I don't think we're going to have a choice unless he croaks. I mean, I'm being honest. Like, you know, it's funny. I was having this conversation with my neighbor today. We were talking about Trump's health, right? And obviously his health isn't very good. He's a large man. Let's just call him obese, because that's what he is. He clearly doesn't eat, doesn't exercise, and he's 80 years old. But I tell people, some of the worst people in society, sometimes they'll smoke their entire life and eat crap and live to 120. So you certainly can't rely on that. No. I don't think there's a choice. I think the only real true choice here is when people vote for the midterms and see how that goes. Hopefully get some of these MAGA idiots out of power, these MAGA morons that are afraid of Donald Trump. But I don't think there's any other way. People have to show up. They have to vote for the midterms and then focus on 2028. And listen, the Democrats' message has not always been great, but I will give Kamala Harris a lot of credit for this. Kamala Harris warned us about this. She said that he was going to do this. She said that it would be dictator-like behavior. She said that he'd be deploying troops at people that don't like him or just disagree with him. She said that he would take down CBS and NBC and other networks or attempt to do that just because he doesn't like their message. She warned us about this.
Yeah. I mean, you know, again, we're getting rid of the Department of Education. We're getting rid of PBS. You know, he's trying to control the media. There is no other way to interpret that. So again, you have somebody sending, you know, law enforcement and military into cities without warrants and a man trying to control the media. I just don't know what other definition you can come up with besides, you know, authoritarian or dictatorship, something along fascism. We are in that arena in the dictionary. So there's no other way to interpret this, folks.
Yeah,
so
it's a
while I agree with you that, you know, of course, yeah, we need to push for midterms and fight for every candidate we want, you know, absolutely. But also I do want to remind folks that there are options for removing this guy. We just need the people that are in elected positions to somehow grow a conscience and some courage and to actually go through with it. If you're going to impeach him, the Senate needs to actually convict him. You know, like there are tools in place to remove him. Let's call it what it is. The people that are currently in elected, most of them, there are a few that aren't, but most of the people that are currently in elected positions don't have the courage to do what needs to be done to take care of this guy because they're too worried about their jobs, their future, their whatever, redistricting. I don't care. But it's like you're worried about the wrong things. Your job at the end of the day is to protect us, the American citizens, and we are under attack. And honestly, while black folks and all people of color are under way more attack than somebody that looks like me, everybody that's on the left, considered a liberal and even independents, you are under attack right now too. You may not see it yet, but you are. So please prepare for what is coming in the next few months.
Yeah, I think we all need to prepare. You're right about that, right? Go ahead. You wanted to say something else? Go ahead.
I wanted to say, keep the pressure on these elected officials. You guys that are showing up and not letting them just come and spout their nonsense. It matters. It's getting attention. It is all over social media when you all show up and say, no, that is not an acceptable answer. No, your job is to work for me. I voted for you. Keep doing that. Keep calling up the representatives. And then if they don't give you the answer that you like, go find somebody that's willing to fight. They may not win the fight, but at least find somebody that's willing to fucking fight. Yeah,
no doubt. So again, if you're just joining us, he is Ryan Shedd. He is
spun up today. If you didn't notice, Brian,
left-leaning podcaster. He's fired up and he's ready to go.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So Ryan, a lot of things are happening right now, but I find over the weekend, some people forget about the Epstein files and they forget about what is so despicable, the way Maxwell has been treated. You could make the argument that George Santos is being treated worse than Maxwell right now. And you have people like Jim Jordan and other right-wing idiots that are taking Maxwell's transcript and they're trying to give her credibility. These are the same people that talked about pedophiles. These are the same people that talked about sex trafficking. And yet they're taking what Maxwell says, who is a proven liar and one of the biggest sex traffickers in American history. And now all of a sudden they're trying to give her credibility with anything she says as being truth.
Yeah. Well, and again, pay attention to how things happened, right? They have a meeting, and then within days she's moved to a cushier location. And then once she's moved and she knows that, that's all done, she's like, okay, cool. I'm going to go through with the plan that we all agreed on. And if you think that somebody that covered for Jeffrey Epstein for decades, doing what he did, isn't going to lie her ass off to get out of prison if she's guaranteed on the back end by a sitting president that has basically immunity from the Supreme Court, isn't going to lie to you and tell you exactly what they want her to tell you, you're insane. You're insane. And
I agree.
I want to also, if you allow me, Virginia Guffrey, she passed away, I think it was back in April. And she has a book coming out. And one of her last wishes was that this book see the light of day. So I challenge everybody that when this book comes out, I think it's coming out next month, go buy it and read it. And then come tell me that we should listen to Ghislaine Maxwell or believe anything that comes out of her mouth.
Maxwell is a monster. She is a monster. And all the innocent teenagers, children, that the abuse that they had to go through, it pains me to talk about it. And the fact that the Trump administration is defending Trump and doing everything to defend Trump. And if that means put, Maxwell in a penthouse, they would do it. And that's what is so beyond sick to me. And it's absolutely repulsive.
I still think we're going to see her released.
Boy, would that be, and you know what? Any MAGA person out there that's okay with that. I mean, not that they have any credibility to begin with, Ryan.
At this point, yeah.
But but I mean, what a sad day that will be for the country if, in fact, she does get pardoned. And you think that's actually going to happen?
Yeah, something in me just says that they're going to find a way, whether it's through her appeal or something. I think that the plan that they have set up for her, I don't think we've seen the completion yet.
So that's what we've seen over the weekend. Donald Trump going after a bunch of black people and sending in the National Guard to a bunch of cities that are run by Democrats mostly and black people. Donald Trump saying today he's not racist. Donald Trump saying today he's not a dictator. Donald Trump saying today that, well, this is tougher than I thought with this Putin-Zelensky thing. And I think, Putin, he just doesn't like Zelensky. They just don't like each other. I mean, what a national embarrassment once again.
Tell me something I didn't know.
Ryan, it's just I know it's just unbelievable every day with this guy. It's exhausting.
Every day.
Yeah, but let's talk
Every
about
day.
Cracker Barrel and let's start whining and complaining about that. Who are the real snowflakes here? It's sick, my man. Before I let you go, I wanted to give you the opportunity, Ryan. Tell us about your 2 podcasts that you got going right now, and your new one, which is awesome.
So busy. But again, thank you so much for having me on, and thanks to the producers and the people behind the scenes that make this show go. I always look forward to these conversations. But yeah, you can find me at Ryan Shed, SHEAD. You type that into Google, I come up everywhere. But I have 2 podcasts. One is Hold the Mic that I do with my old high school friend, Ian Sherman. Been doing that one for about 2 years. And then I have a new one now with Marcus Flowers, who you may know from Georgia. He ran against Marjorie Taylor Greene back in 2020.
I wish he won.
Dude, me too. Hey, he got a 10-point swing in I think it was a 30-point Republican district. So, I mean, while he didn't win, he made a hell of a dent.
Yeah.
So it's been a pleasure to get to know him better behind the scenes as we've ramped up our new show, With All Due Respect. That's on Wednesdays around, I think, 3 o'clock Eastern. So, yeah, please go check my YouTube out under Ryan Shed and keep supporting shows like this because we're trying to get the message out there. We're trying to get the left's message out there. So shows like Brian's here, it is important. And the only way that we can continue doing what we do is if you hit that like and subscribe button. So as always, appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate it. Same goes to you as well. And hope you have a great week, my friend. And look forward to catching up with you soon, Ryan. Thanks so
Yes,
much
sir.
for the time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Check out his 2 podcasts. That's Ryan Shedd, everybody.